and welcome again to VICCC and our series on the programs we offer. Today I'm joined by Elena Lamoureux. She's the Customer Service Professional Program Coordinator and Instructor. And I'll ask her to say a little bit about herself.
Hi, I am from Canada and I'm a teacher of all things. I studied education and now I'm teaching customer service and loving it. I have a strong customer service background. I spent many years working in customer service in my hometown's newspaper. I've also worked in clothing stores and restaurants and can bring a lot of new information also to the program.
Thank you, Elena. And my name is Catherine. I'm the Academic Manager at VICCC. So as I said, today we're going to talk about Customer Service Professional. So my first question for you, Elena, is what is Customer Service Professional Program and Advanced Customer Service Professional Program?
Right. So we have 7 courses that our students can take. And we can take either a certificate stream or we can take a diploma stream. And if a student wants to just take one course like hotel industry or another course like leaders and motivation, they can just get individual certificates. Or students could take all 7 courses and get a diploma. So that's a really nice thing to show when you go back home.
Yeah, and if you're curious about the different modules for CSP, you can go to our website, vancouver.college. Elena, what about co-op? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So some people choose that after they finish their 7 months of academics, that they want to go and actually work in Canada and have that English Canadian experience. So a lot of our students will do a co-op, which is a paid work placement. So they can go and learn about the culture, workplace culture, they can get paid, and they can put something on the resume showing that they worked in English. And that's showing something that can be really hard, but students can work in any kind of customer field. They can work in a hotel, in a restaurant, in retail, like a clothing store or a suitcase luggage store. So there's many, many options for our students.
That's great. Can students also work while they're studying?
Yeah, absolutely. So when students are studying and if they are taking the 7 months of classes, they can also work during class up to 20 hours each week. So really they can make money while they're in school, and that actually almost pays for their tuition. So it's really nice.
It's important, yeah. What do students do after the program, Elena?
Well, some of our students and some of our students right now have actually gone into local universities and they're taking degree programs or associate degree programs. And then there are some students who just want to go back home, take what they've learned in class, apply it to their real life, and that's great too. So it can be a choice of wanting to stay in Canada longer or returning to your home country and continuing on with school there or work life back in their home country.
Great. Why should students take CSP at VICCC? There are customer service programs at other schools. Why VICCC?
That's a good question. So I think VICCC is really special. The teachers from the other programs will come and talk to the students. They will come and talk to you. You'll know who people are. You'll know when you walk into the front desk, they're going to talk to you. They're going to ask you how you are. People really connect here. So VICCC is kind of a special place. With our course specifically, we make sure that we keep it up to date, modern. So for example, when you're learning how to do your resume, you can look online and you'll see a lot of information, but most of it is outdated. When you come into our class, you're going to see how to do a resume that's appropriate in this year. So you're going to see, oh, I shouldn't do this, I should do this. You're going to hear from speakers that are professionals in their industry. You're not just going to learn English, you're going to learn how to speak if you work at the front desk of a hotel, how to speak if you're a server, how to speak if you have to train a coworker. So all of that special language.
Yeah, and it's very important to practice that before you go into the workplace.
Absolutely.
All right, Elena, I'll just show a couple slides to summarize what we've talked about today. Okay, so you can see here some of the things we've talked about today. Elena, do you want to go through the points for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can see with point number 1, it says study a range of customer service skills, such as communication, resume building, and leadership. 7 months in class and 7 months co-op work term. So this is for the advanced program where you would do the work term. If you choose not to do the work term, that's fine. You stop after the 7 months. And number 2, you can earn money while studying. The best part, maximize your earning potential during the co-op term by combining the hours on your work permit and your study permits. So when you're in the co-op term, you can work 30, 40 hours a week if you choose to. And number 3, maybe this is the best part, graduate with a diploma and Canadian work experience. So very nice, you'll feel very proud of yourself. Number 4, choose to continue your studies with our pathway partners. We have City University or Sprott-Shaw University, or pardon me, Sprott-Shaw College, and we have so many courses and campuses to choose from.
Thank you very much, Elena, for joining us and explaining the program to us. If you have questions or if you're interested in applying to VICCC and the Customer Service Professional Program or the Advanced Customer Service Professional Program, you can contact us at vancouver.college. You can click on apply on the website. You can also email if you have questions. One of our advisors will be very happy to answer your questions for you. info@viccc.ca. Or of course you can phone us, our phone number is on the screen. To apply, you'll need to check our admissions requirements for the program. A simple application online will get you started and someone will contact you soon after you send it in. Okay, thank you, Elena, for joining us.
Hello, welcome. I'm Elena and I'm a teacher at Vancouver International College Career Campus here in Vancouver. Really nice to see you. So I'm a teacher of the Customer Service Professional Program. And in that program, our students learn a lot of things. They learn how to communicate effectively with other people. They learn how to stand up, speak to a large group of people, and give a strong, powerful presentation. And they learn about the hotel industry and food and beverage and tourism. Right now, I'd like to focus on food and beverage. Okay, so specifically, I'd like to focus a little bit on champagne. So maybe you'll learn a few things today that you can share with your friends so you look like you know what you're talking about. Okay, so what I want to mention first off is that champagne is called champagne only if the grapes have been grown and the champagne produced in Champagne, France, specifically. So there is a government law that says to call something champagne, it must be from the Champagne area. You can't grow grapes and bottle champagne in California or in Australia and call it champagne. No, it has to be called another name, maybe sparkling wine, right? Okay, so we're going to talk about champagne and the grapes and some little things like that. So let's continue. So first of all, champagne, as I mentioned, is a sparkling wine. And actually, champagne was created by accident. When champagne was created, they didn't want the bubbles in the champagne. That was a mistake. They thought it was a terrible, terrible mistake, but it ended up being a pretty good mistake. So now to make champagne, yeast and sugar are added to bottles of wine, still wine, wine that has no bubbles. And then that creates the carbon dioxide, the CO2, the little bubbles that we see. Now, as I mentioned, if champagne is called champagne and it's from somewhere else, then the government in France is going to ask them to stop because that is illegal. So if it's produced somewhere else, it might be called sparkling wine and really similar to champagne. Okay, let's see what's next. For champagne to be made, it generally comes from 3 main grape varieties. Now, there are other grape varieties, but these three are the common ones. So you can see the picture at the top. That's the Pinot Noir, and it makes a very strong tasting champagne. And then in the middle, you can see the green grapes, and these are the Chardonnay grapes, and they make a very fresh, light tasting champagne. Moving on to the bottom with the Pinot Noir, and it makes sweet tasting champagne. So lots of different tastes for champagne. Now, here's the important thing. Champagne can be made by using just one of those grapes, or you could mix them together. You can blend 2 or 3 of them together to make your champagne. It's really up to the person who's making the champagne to decide that. Now, most champagnes aren't made with all 3 grape varieties blended together, and that's usually because it's difficult to have a successful crop of one grape. Sometimes the weather isn't good, or there's little bugs that eat the grapes, so they often have a variety because some grow better than others, and then they mix them together. Okay. Now, something also that a lot of people don't know is that people who make champagne, the champagne producers, often blend grapes together that were grown in different years. So maybe they have some grapes that were grown in 2020, and they could be mixed with grapes that were grown in 2019, and they can all be put together. So different years, different grapes all together. Now, if this happens, this champagne is called non-vintage. We don't know the specific year. Because they're grown from different years, the grapes, the producers can't write the year on the bottle. So if you look where my arrow is pointing, often this is where the year of the champagne is written. And sometimes the year of a champagne bottle can make it more expensive. But if you mix the years, you can't put the year in the bottle because you can't put 2019, 2018, 2020. No. Okay. So now vintage. Vintage champagne is when champagne is produced with the grapes of one particular year. So if all the grapes are produced to make champagne and they're from one year, if they're from 2020, yes, then you can put 2020 on the bottle and call it vintage champagne. And again, it's going to be more expensive than the non-vintage. And here's the example. You can see that this bottle says 2002, and we know that all of those grapes were, I was going to say born, all of those grapes were produced and grown in 2002. Yeah, so again, because the grapes are all from the same year, that year can be written directly on the bottle. So maybe these are things that you didn't know. And when you go to the store to buy some champagne, you might look like you really know what you're talking about when you're with your friend. Or your friend might say, why is this bottle more expensive than that bottle? And it might be because one is non-vintage and one is vintage. Okay, so now I have 3 questions for you. So question number 1, why do people usually drink champagne out of a champagne flute? Now, the champagne flute is the name of this long, narrow glass. Why? Why do you think this is the typical shape of a glass for champagne? Okay, let's see if you answered correctly. Because the champagne flute is so narrow, it keeps in lots of bubbles. The wider the glass, then the bubbles will go away faster. Okay? All right, let's go to our second question. How many bubbles are there in a glass of champagne? In one glass of champagne, how many bubbles? If you had to count. Okay, I'll give you 3 seconds. Okay, here's the answer. 1 million. Yes, in one glass of champagne, one glass, there are 1 million bubbles. Trust me, the scientists have counted. Okay, let's go to our third and final question. Let's see how you're going to do here. What's another word for champagne? So champagne, we know, is the official name, but there is a casual, informal name that we call champagne sometimes. Okay, so 6 letters. Last letter is a Y. Here's another hint. Second letter is a U. And one more. Then we have an L. Any ideas? Okay, here's the answer. Bubbly. So sometimes when you go to a restaurant, you might say, we're celebrating today. Let's all have some bubbly. And it means champagne. Same for champagne. Okay, so I hope you learned a lot, and I hope that you'll come and visit us at Vancouver International College Career Campus in Vancouver. We would love to see you. Bye.